Hey! Man, am I tired from making gator wallets. there's, there's nothing more exhausting than sitting at that table. One-man show making alligator wallets. Whew. I like doing these videos because I love listening to you folks, and I hear a lot of people tell me that they like these videos, not necessarily so much from hearing from me or my face, but reading comments from other people. And I've had a lot of people tell me via email and in the comments that they absolutely love that. It's an innate human, it's a primordial, actually, not innate, it's a primordial human condition towards connectiveness towards one another. I need to tell you a couple things, and also to make a correction. And by the way, I read every comment, as I've said before, on all of these videos. I read all comments in all videos, actually, even if they're abusive comments, which there's plenty of those. But I heard from a guy today, I don't want to give his name or anything, but he's married to a Cambodian lady, and of course he has a lot of family that are in Cambodia. And he told me today, and I looked at his Facebook page, and you know, his wife is Cambodian and all his friends. Anyway, he told me that the word from Cambodia is, and he would know, that the government is forcing everybody to get the jab, or if not, since most of the country, I don't know how poor the average Cambodian is, but I mean, you know, income is very, very, very low, that if you don't get the jab, then you're forced to pay a $100 fine. I should have asked him, like, is that a recurring fine? Or what happens if you can't afford to pay it? Will they throw you in jail? So that's the word from a person that knows, and I heard from a guy from Germany today. And what I fail to connect with is that even though I used to live in San Francisco Bay Area, places like that, New York, and Chicago, and I hear a lot of stuff in Miami. Like Miami is a really, from a lot of people telling me, a really hardcore so far as, you know, just the tension that you could cut with a knife, and the sort of, you know, well, let's just be honest with each other, rabid insanity. And even though in many of these What's Going On videos, and I never tell anybody what to do or what to think, okay? I never do it, so don't ever accuse me of that. In many of these videos, I've railed on, you know, things where this, you know, the face diaper stuff is just like never going to end. And that's just a sign. That would be like some sort of evil empire, you know, waving a flag. You know, it's like, you know, I'm so sick of seeing this flag because it represents, you know, an evil entity, for example, and then people would attack me. It's like, you know, what's wrong with it? You know, just ignore it. It's just, in regards to the face diapers, people, I'm not saying you, but there's a significant percentage of people that think that I'm actually, you know, talking about a flag or a face diaper. And it's not, it's a symbol. A face diaper, just like a flag, is a symbolism of, you know, imagine if we could see all the insane people on the streets. Like, what if, like, all people that, like, harm their own children were purple? I mean, like, all of a sudden we'd see, you know, purple people, like, wow, oh my God, that's just, you know, we'd be frightened by the insanity. But what if all people that, you know, that were in jail for 30 years because of horrific crimes were red or something like that? And I'm not referring to skin color or anything like that, okay, for God's sakes. I'm just saying, what if we could see that? And I'm not actually railing against the face diaper. I mean, I kind of am, but it's not that. It's a representation of craziness gone wrong. I mean, if you and I, and once again, I'm not telling anybody what to do or how to live their life. It's none of my business. Don't care what you believe or what you do. You know, if a person with a half a brain were to see, like, on a hot, sunny day, someone like 100 yards out in the distance, near nobody, you know, like jogging, wearing that, you're like, oh my God, you know? Is someone that, we would think, is that person that completely scared senseless, or that dumb or both, right? There's that sort of insane fear-mongering that was, I don't know when you grew up, that was applied to us folks growing up in the 80s. That, oh, Russia, any day now, they're going to launch 1,000 nukes and completely wipe out America. So there were these children that were traumatized and people that bought into, there's been a silly Russia hoax, and I'm not talking about politics. I know Russians, okay? I lived in Russia for years. I translate Russian, russo-angliysky переводчик. I know for a fact, I can speak as an expert on this topic, that Russians are rolling their eyes over all this Russia fear-mongering stuff. They really are. I know Russians quite well. I know their personality quite well. We've got a bazillion nukes, and so do they, and this is not politics. But the point is the fear-mongering. So when I, talk about this, the face diaper stuff going on into infinity, and, just radical insanity, just people, these businesses, endless. I can't even, this is a place where the economy, like when the economy is really bad, the town that I'm in like right now, Lexington, it stays solid as a rock. This town, and it's not my opinion, it's a fact, statistics bear it out, is a rock of Gibraltar. So when things get really bad, this town stays on an even keel. And when this town feels it, things are bad. It just, all these businesses that are being crushed, and the only ones that are flourishing are the ones that have connections, power connections. I mean, just think of all the businesses right now that are flourishing. While every mom and pop shop who normally has been doing a great job has been put into absolute abject misery and hell. Amazon is doing great, Walmart's doing great, Costco. There's just way too much caca going on. Yeah, use the word caca. It's just too much. So when people have, there's not a large percentage, but a significant number. We're talking about me attacking the flag, if you will. That's just a symbol. A flag is nothing but a piece of fabric, and this is nothing but a piece of fabric too. But it is a representation of something. If we see like a radical bumper sticker on someone's car, we don't even never see the person. We have no idea who's driving. But if we see a radical bumper sticker, we're like, my God, that person is crazy. You know it, and I know it too. Like a crazy radical, I won't mention a bumper sticker. We've all seen them, like, oh my God. I especially know, like, if I see a car that has like 20 bumper stickers, and they're all radical, forcing their crazy beliefs on you. They use their car as like a propaganda machine with like 20 bumper stickers, sometimes 40 and 50 bumper stickers on a car, trying to shove their belief systems down your throat. It's like, that person's crazy. I don't care what they believe, they're a nut. And this has been externalized. It's like we're seeing all the crazy people. And of course, this representation of weak minds. If you had a strong mind back in the Russia fear-mongering years of the 1980s, Russia's going to drop a nuke on us any day. There are people running around in circles like Chicken Little, just scared to death. And, I'm all about being prepared. I mean, there are people like spending all their money, digging underground bunkers. And I'm not against that either. I'm all about being prepared. I mean, I am really all about that. But I mean, there's a difference between being prepared and being crazy. And right now there's a difference between being safe and just being insane. I mean, you wrap yourself in bubble wrap like the Bubble Boy and, stick yourself in a giant airtight bubble, and there's just way too much insanity. People are tired. They're sick and tired. Well, something else I'm seeing right now too, remember it's 2 weeks to flatten the curve, and that was like a year and a half ago, right? The people, and I'm seeing all over the world. I mean, I'm seeing examples of it all over the world. Even in Canada, where everybody's so nice. Oh, hey, how you doing? This is a Canadian protesting after like the next door neighbor burned his house down. Oh, you burned my house down, eh? Well, I don't think I'm going to invite you over for dinner tomorrow. That's not very nice of you, but I still love you. The point is, Canadians are so nice. I've seen a lot of examples of Canadians like flipping the heck out over what's going on in the world. And I'm not don't ever take this the wrong way. I'm not advocating people do anything. I don't tell anybody what to do. What I'm saying is I'm sitting back, I have my head on a swivel. Oh, girlfriend, my head is on a swivel. And I'm watching what's going on. And the anger is rising, and people are sick of it. You know, they're really, and so I have it moderate. I have it, you know, I'm sitting in Kentucky, right? I just got back from Florida. So I'm sitting in the middle of the road in what's going on in the world. And even though I hear it, I don't sometimes connect to it because I haven't been to Los Angeles or San Francisco in ages, neither New York or Chicago. And a lot of these big cities, I mean, I hear all the Britons like this. I hear, you know, not all of Canada, but, you know, Ontario and Quebec, and apparently Denmark is totally off the rails from what everybody tells me. A lot of England is off the rails. And the tension level is rising beyond the bubbling point, you know, where the thermometer goes so high that, you know, it literally pops. I think there's the zit is about to pop. I mean, I really do feel the tension that the zit's about to pop, proverbially speaking. God, I've heard a lot of people reporting to me fine details of what's going on in Canada. Not just where those horrific laws were implemented in Ontario. Not talking about that specifically at all, even though that was bad enough. I mean, I'm hearing a lot of really insane stuff coming out of Canada and England and New Zealand. A lot of Kiwis are reporting. Some Kiwis are, nothing's going on where I'm at, but I had a lot of Kiwis. Shouldn't call them Kiwis, right? They don't mind being called Kiwis, do they? I think maybe half the world is just like blocking. I mean, not half the world, but it seems like a significant part of the world is just like saying to hell with it and living in their little bubble. I know one guy, and I feel sorry for him. I don't play games on the computer, and I don't care if anybody does. He just like goes out and gets groceries, and he comes home and he plays computer games, and to him it's still like 1999, like that Prince song. Gonna party like it's 1999. You know, nothing is wrong, nothing going on. You know, I got my food in the fridge, and I got my computer games. I could sit there and play all day. Just oblivious, like, you know, Nero's fiddling while Rome burns, right? I don't know what percentage of the world, or Americans especially, are really guilty of this. They're just like, you know, they're completely, you know, they've rolled over. You know, their feet and arms are sticking up in the air, and they're in a complete defeatist position, both mentally, physically. They've just become, you know, it's like how you cook a frog on a plate, not on a stove. Not that I would ever do that. You know, you don't stick it in boiling water because it'll jump right out. You slowly turn it up. Slowly turn it up, and the frog will just boil there. It won't ever jump out of the hot water. And seems way too much of humanity. All of this stuff has to end, and it has to end soon. This level of chicken little fear mongering is it's beyond the pale. And once again, I didn't give anybody, you know, any instructions in this video. I don't tell anybody what to think, do, or believe. Okay, so don't even accuse me of that. All right. I'd love to hear what you think, and I also too love hearing. Like I said, I have my head on a swivel, and I read every comment. I would love to hear what's going on in your neck of the woods or your country. On a final note, yeah, my farm is on Indian land, and I have an Indian burial mound. And in my creek, there's all sorts of flint. So this is a big piece of flint, you know, that Native Americans would make their arrows out of. So it's a very beautiful piece, very smooth and cold and waxy feeling. I love going out to the farm. It's one of the greatest pleasures is getting away from all the crazy people. And I have multiple ponds that are fed by a creek. When I say ponds, my creek has these deep areas, yeah, like 8-9 feet deep, crystal blue water, but it's a creek. And so when when it's going to get really hot this summertime, I'm going to grab some swimming shorts, and I'm going to do like they did in Little House on the Prairie, where, you go down to the swimming hole. Yeah, it's my land. It's my farm. It's my land. I'm going to, hopefully my toes won't get bit off by like a snapping turtle. Actually, I can see to the bottom. It's crystal clear. And I'm going to jump in. I can't wait for it to get hot and jump in the swimming hole on my farm and just gaze up at the sky. There's little beachy areas there covered in sand. Just lay out on the sand and maybe read some Plotinus. This world has just absolutely gone crazy. It has lifespans are much longer than they used to be, but people are so much more miserable. We have access to all sorts of advanced technologies, but people are more miserable than ever. They have more toys and trinkets and garbage, than our grandfathers or forefathers would ever wish for. And, washing machines. I mean, old folks would be like, oh my God, land of Goshen, a washing machine. I don't have to wash my clothes by hand anymore. We have washing machines and fast vehicles. And everybody is still a miserable SOB. They really are. And I'm partially in that boat too. I get sick of working 7 days a week. I'm working twice as hard now to make half as much. Essentially accurate. I've been up to like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning every night. I got 4 jobs. I do. I enjoy working with my hands, but man, there's only so many alligator. Let me grab an alligator skin. There's only so many alligator wallets you can make before your body and your mind go, ah, stop! There's an alligator skin. So humanity really has degenerated. Like I said, our forefathers would be so happy with all the stuff that we have. Like, oh my God, the entire world's information, essentially, at the tip of your fingertips, tip of your fingers. Movies and information galore, all the information you would ever want. People back, they're like, oh my God, I had to send 50 cents off to Sears and Roebuck and wait 4 weeks to get a book. And over here we got like 10 billion books all over the world, and we can communicate with anybody via Skype or whatever. They'd be like, oh my God. And we're all still miserable assholes. Everybody is just a stressed out, and I fit into that box too. Everybody's a stressed out, miserable, whiny, complaining. Yeah, I fit in there too somewhere. Whiny, complaining, inferior version of our forefathers. Like, damn, All of that nonsense that existed before all of this garbage started is now completely magnified. People are ruder and they're more miserable and they're just walking around like a bunch of zombies. You know it and I know it. And, they can't make ends meet. I mean, hell, even I can't afford medical care. Being put out of business, their poor little children are being traumatized, wearing face diapers, rebreathing their CO2 all day long. I mean, poor little child. I mean, for God's sakes, some 50-year-old, so-and-so, well, not 50, but I'm close to it. Some adult so-and-so having to suffer through that is one thing, but a bunch of kids doing this number and sucking in their CO2 all day long in school, like, oh, little Johnny, just, it's like, why do I have to wear this, Mommy? Oh, because there's something evil that could, do you in, and you need to do that. Like, oh my God, we're going to generate. If you want to make a bunch of money in the next few years, become a psychologist or a psychotherapist, yeah, or yeah, because all these traumatized kids are going to grow up with so many mental disorders. It's not even funny. They're going to be afraid of their own shadow. I used to know a guy like that. He's just jittery, like he was afraid to death, like he was going to die any second, and he had 10 cups of coffee. All these kids are going to be growing up like little insane. Oh my God. This is going to be neurosis hell. I think the biggest industry in the next 10 years is going to be psychotherapy for all these depressed, mentally ill kids. It's ridiculous. Like every teenager on Earth now, at least in America, America and Europe and Britain, like they're popping pills for their mental health. This stuff has got to end. This world and all the sane people in it are not gonna. We can't tolerate this nonsense anymore. Tell me what you think. Tell me how much you hate me. Tell me what you think. I read every comment, even the really abusive ones. Thanks.